Once I get on top and in the air, I realize, oh, there's a line of stopped traffic on the other side that I couldn't see. I like to push the boundaries of what I'm capable of and what my cars are capable of. Does that mean I'm done making stupid mistakes in my cars? Probably not. I've had a lot of close calls, near crashes, probably near arrests, and a lot of fails while driving these cars. So why not just start from the top, huh? My first car, Lexus LS400, 91. Classic car, rear-wheel drive, V8, more car than I knew what to handle. And I think that everyone goes through a phase in their life where, they take risks. They're rambunctious, rebellious stage. Some people have it in high school. Mine happened to be sophomore year of college. So I was learning how to drift, as you do with an open differential car. Very snowy. I grew up in the Northeast. I went to college and we had a massive snowstorm, 2 feet of snow. I decided to take the LS400 out for a spin. I probably should have gone to a vacant lot or something, but I ended up going to a campus parking lot. So probably 20 minutes go by and I'm just practicing my drifting, how to handle a vehicle, if you will. At one point, I ended up hitting a curb and popping my front tire. No biggie, but in the background, I saw that there were some police lights coming towards me. 3 police cars pull up. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna try and play it off. Maybe just drive away. They didn't see me. It's okay. Then I realized that my front tire was popped and I couldn't go anywhere. So I was approached by these 2 police officers, 3 police officers. They instantly started calling me an idiot. And it turns out they had been watching me on the security cameras for the past 20 minutes, seeing if I would crash into something. I think secretly they were rooting me on. I ended up going through the judicial program at my school, taking a safety course, a decision-making course, but ultimately I learned how to handle my vehicle. This isn't where the stories stop with the LS400. No. It was my 18th birthday and I wanted to have some fun. I was on Cape Cod and there's these very steep railroad tracks. And I figured, it'd be a great idea to try and jump them. Why not, right? I had 2 people in the car with me and I was listening to Dance Dance by Fall Out Boy. I remember this very, very vividly. And I'm like, hey, watch this. I got this. I had something to prove. So I floor it. And once I get on top and in the air, I realize, oh, there's a line of stopped traffic on the other side that I couldn't see. So I slammed the brakes midair. I don't know if you've ever done that, but it actually doesn't work when your wheels are off the ground. It doesn't do anything. And I slammed into the back of a Nissan Altima. This is my first and only accident ever, by the way. Very embarrassing. My pride still hasn't recovered from this incident. I felt very, very bad because it was an old gentleman. He was so cool. And I quote, he said, "Shit happens." After the Lexus, I got a 2007 Toyota 4Runner because I went through this kind of weird outdoorsy phase where I thought I was a hippie and, hiking and all that stuff. And I made some mistakes in the 4Runner as well. First time, owning an SUV, I thought I was unstoppable. And I also didn't realize the rust issues that 4th-gen 4Runners have. So I took it on the beach. I drove it through way more salt water than I should have. And the whole frame just started disintegrating in front of my eyes pretty much. I pawned that off. I obviously disclaimed that the frame was on its way out. Just don't drive your car through salt water. It's not a smart idea. When I was exploring the capabilities of the 4Runner, I did take it off-roading quite a few times, and I almost hydro-locked the engine. I took it through a puddle. I thought it was pretty shallow, but it ended up being like about 2 or 3 feet deep. Just floored it right through, and the engine, it was sputtering, but I just revved the crap out of it and finally just passed the water through the engine, and it was fine. But almost hydro-locked the engine. Thank God I did not. So I just got done being a production assistant on seasons 6, 7, and 8 of Car Trek. And now I'm, pretty good friends with Ed and the hosts here. But it didn't always start that smoothly. The first impression I ever made from, in front of these big YouTubers was at Amelia Island. I had just finished dropping off a production assistant from season 5. And I had to make some sort of impression, so I rolled up in front of these guys and just mercilessly revved the crap out of this rental Camry I had. It was a 4-cylinder CVT transmission, absolute beast of a machine, and I think I made a great impression, honestly. I mean, it must have stuck somehow because I'm still around, right? Okay, so another fail. This one had to do with a rental Jeep Wrangler. 2015, if you've ever used them as a tow vehicle, they're not super capable. They're not really set up for it as far as suspension goes and drivetrain goes. But, you know, we wanted the ability to take the top off on our vacation and tow a camper, so that's what we did. This road trip went through the Rocky Mountains in Colorado and down into Arizona, where we stayed on Lone Rock Beach. But little did I know, the road to Lone Rock Beach goes up around the perimeter of the beach and just turns into this very soft sand. So alone, without the camper, I'm sure the Jeep would have been just fine. But having that weight in the back, we got stuck. I just foot to the floor, just trying as hard as I could to get out of there, but I ended up digging a ditch. And we ended up just ditching the camper. We found some gentlemen camping on the beach. They were quite the characters, and I offered them a 6-pack of beer to come to our camper out. So we went back, hooked the Jeep up to the trailer, and they had these recovery boards that they stuck underneath the Jeep, and finally were able to tow us out. But getting stuck in soft sand is kind of a theme for me, because this brings us to my Icelandic trip. I went to Iceland back in 2017, and it's a popular thing to rent a camper van there, just drive around the island. So that's what we did. But little did I know that most of the soil there is just very soft volcanic soil. So we pulled over to sleep for the night, and our little Volkswagen camper van got beached. This was mid-June, so it was still light out, but it was 1 a.m. So we had no idea. It was very disorienting, no idea what time it was. Thankfully, there was a local with an off-road vehicle who came by and asked if we needed help. So he did the recovery hooks and was able to tow us out, thankfully, but that was tough. It took about 2.5 to 3 hours to get it out. We tried on our own, and then thankfully this local came in with his 4x4 and towed us out. Alrighty, on to the next fail. People who play Mario Kart often will get into this sort of trance, you know, where they hit the blocks with the question marks in them and stuff like that. I went through a phase of playing Mario Kart like 12 hours a day. And then afterwards, get in my car, hopped out on the road, and saw a big brick in the road and just didn't even think twice and ran it over. Stupid moment, very, very stupid moment, total fail. I destroyed my Wolfsburg wheel, popped the tire. This is what happens when you're in your parents' basement playing Mario Kart for too long. So make sure you get out and get some fresh air. So I've always considered myself a car guy, but I've never really been that into cars. I've never really had someone to teach me the ways, you know what I'm saying? So back in 2017, I bought my first stick car, had no idea how to drive stick. My friend drive down to Pennsylvania with me and bring it back up. And this car was a 2011 Ford Mustang GT, first year for the Coyote V8. Awesome car, interesting car to learn stick on. So I spent the next 2 weeks learning how to drive stick and just absolutely destroyed the clutch. Just destroyed it. And little did I know, the battery was also going bad. So I don't know if you've ever been to Cape Cod, but in the summer traffic, the bridges get very, very backed up. I worked on Cape Cod, so this is my commute, and the clutch decided just to not do its clutch things and stalled out, and I couldn't restart my car. So I was on the Bourne Bridge in summer traffic, and people were very, very angry at me. I'm surprised not more Dunkin' Donuts was thrown at my windshield. A tow truck had to stop 4 lanes of traffic, turn around, and then jump me on the bridge, and you should have seen the faces of these New Englanders. They were very, very angry at me. I got a job as a production assistant on the show of Car Issues with Tyler Hoover, and I had some fails on this one as well. If you know Tyler, he has a lot of cars, and that means a lot of logistics driving around. So that was my job, helping Tyler move around his cars and make his life easier pretty much on the set. So as far as film production goes, you know, time is money, and I was just rushing to get this done. We just finished up the paintball scene, James Bond scene, where we just lit the DB7 up with pink paint. And I went to go take it to the car wash after, and you know, me being young, I didn't know that the retractable antenna on the back was, you know, I actually had to retract it. So we were mid-scene, I had to go wash the car, and I drove through and ripped the antenna right off. If you do something like that with Tyler, just go up and rip off the Band-Aid and, Tyler, sir, I screwed up. I ripped your antenna off. It's like, oh my God, you actually did. We tried our best to fasten it back on just to finish up the scene, but I'm pretty sure Wizard still has that car right now and is fixing it up. The 97 E36 M3 that was on the show, I was in charge of driving that around pretty much the entire length of the show. And I curbed the wheels twice, I think, going out of this one coffee shop. But thankfully that car was a total bust. Wizard actually destroyed it. So no shame there. Another one was the 1988 right-hand drive Suzuki Jimny that had a 0.3 liter engine. This car was super, super fun, but very sketchy to drive. It was lifted poorly, may I add. So the thing was just wobbling all over the highway. I think we were going 55 miles an hour, Jordan Cole and I, and it was turning probably 5,500 RPMs. And I think after driving it at that speed for that long, it's not meant for it. So we developed this crazy sort of engine knock. And Urination Bob ended up pouring a massive amount of this Lucas oil stabilizer into the engine. He was like, maybe we lost a couple horsepower, maybe we didn't, but it won't do any harm. And I also ended up curbing that car too. So not a great track record so far. And another one I drove was the Cadillac Escalade based off of the Chevy Avalanche. Guess what? Curbed those wheels too. It's honestly a surprise that Tyler lets me drive his car still. I did drive his conversion van though, with a U-Haul trailer on the back. Perfectly fine, so I don't know what the deal is there. So I call myself the not so handy car guy, and clearly that's for a good reason. Because of my inadequacy with vehicles, it's just a constant learning process with me.
5 years ago, the first sponsor we ever had here on the VINwiki channel was Caffeine and Octane. Now, they're our local Atlanta Cars and Coffee meetup that I've been going to for 15 or so years now, but it is now the largest monthly recurring automotive gathering on Earth. Now, you'll also recognize Caffeine and Octane from their television show, and the next season of that airs very soon on Motor Trend. In their quest for further automotive world domination, they just bought the legendary Lanier Motor Speedway, which is across the street from Road Atlanta. So throughout the next year, we're going to have a lot of amazing events there that you'll be invited to join. But the coolest project they've deployed lately is called HighOctane.tv, and it's a free streaming network that you can access from any smart TV, Roku, Fire Stick, smartphone, or a computer, and it'll give you access to a ton of programming, including all 5 seasons of their show, some content from creators we love like David Patterson, That Dude in Blue, and a ton more. Soon there will be some content from VINwiki on there as well. So visit the link in the description below to learn more about the amazing world of Caffeine and Octane.